Hi everybody, and welcome to December City Scene. This month we have some interesting topics ranging from healthy eating habits for the holidays, some holiday safety tips, as well as an exciting award for our bicycle trail system. Up first is Shannon Austin giving us an update on some of the construction projects around the city.
Hi again, Shannon Austin here, out on the east side near 26th Street and Southeastern Avenue. I'm welcoming to the show with me today Chad Cucker from Confluence. Chad, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
We are here today to talk about our project that's coming up in a couple of years at 26th and Southeastern, more specifically the impacts of that project to Rotary Park. Now, Rotary Park, for some of our viewers on the west side that don't know where it's at, is right at the intersection at 26th and Southeastern, and it's one of our more popular park areas. So with our project, can you kind of tell the impacts that the project has on Rotary Park?
Yes. Well, Rotary Park is located along 26th Street. And with the new road and bridge project, the existing access will be eliminated. So that's requiring us to rebuild Rotary Park on the west side of the river.
So is there any activities that happen on the west side of the river right now?
Very, very limited. There is a canoe and kayak launch on the west side of the river.
Okay, so that'll still remain?
That will remain,
okay.
Yes.
And then what other amenities will we have on the west side?
On the west side, we'll be adding a parking lot.
Okay.
We'll be adding a restroom, picnic shelter, and new playground.
So that's basically almost everything we have on the east side. Are the east side amenities going to be taken down?
The east side amenities will stay in the short term.
Okay.
Eventually they will be phased out.
Okay. So talk about that access, the existing access onto 26th Street. Is that, we're taking it out with the project. How come that's needed to be taken out?
Oh, because there'll be a new bridge built over the railroad tracks.
Okay.
So it'll be elevated about 30 feet higher than the existing grade.
Okay.
So there would not be an ability to access the park from that elevated bridge.
Okay. So will the access then of the existing canoe launch area kind of be exactly where it is today? Is it going to be shifting east or west at all?
It'll be aligned directly across from the existing Cliff Avenue access point. It'll be generally the same location. It will be a little bit elevated as well.
Okay. So the parking lot will be on the west side. How will those users get to the east side?
There'll be a new pedestrian bridge to cross the river.
And what are some special features on that pedestrian bridge?
Well, the pedestrian bridge is it's a lower bridge, so that it's actually within the floodway, and it's designed to be submerged in approximately the 10-year flood event.
Okay, so like sometimes if we have a big snow melt, that could possibly happen.
Correct.
All right, so then I do believe there's also railings on that bridge. How do we protect those railings, or how do those railings work then?
They're railings that are built in sections that have shear pins that are intended to break off and bend over if they're hit by debris.
Okay, so that's if our parks folks, are they allowed to open the railing up if they need to, or does it automatically?
Yeah. Okay. They can open up ahead of time.
Okay. Yeah. So what's been the response from the public on moving the Rotary Park from the east side to the west side?
I think everybody's excited about the new improvements, the new playground, the new restroom.
Okay. So this area, of course, as we look at it now, is pretty much covered by trees. So we have to take down a lot of trees, don't we?
We do have to take down quite a few trees.
All right. So when is that work going to happen?
We will be bidding a project in January.
Okay.
And the work will happen in probably late February or early March.
All right. Well, we're going to talk to Meg from HDR to tell us a little bit more about that tree removal project. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, so here to talk about our tree removal process, we have Meg from HDR. Meg, welcome.
Thank you.
So we are going to be cutting down a lot of these trees on the west side of the river starting about end of January and being done hopefully by March 30th. Can you kind of give our viewers why we're doing that in that short a time frame?
Well, the goal is to reduce any impacts to the northern long-eared bat. The bats are listed as threatened species on the Endangered Species Act, and part of the problem is that they're being impacted by construction as well as the white nose syndrome, which is a fungal infection that bats in this region are starting to get.
So this bat, do you suppose a lot of our viewers have seen this bat in Sioux Falls?
Most everyone has. The northern long-eared bat eats a lot in the late dusk time, and you'll see them around. They feed largely on mosquitoes and other insects in the area, and there are quite a few in this area.
So they're helpful to our community.
Very. In fact, a lot of people are enjoying putting out bat houses in their backyard to give them a place to roost, as it does help keep down the insect population.
So our goal then to take these trees down is technically then before they come out of hibernation. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
So we've done a survey to verify whether the habitat exists in this area, particularly for their roosting, and before they would start coming and hanging out in these trees. Bats like to hibernate in cool, dark areas that remain a constant temperature that is above freezing, which would eliminate these trees as being a possible area for their hibernation. They'll hibernate in caves, old buildings, places like that, whereas in the summer they will come and roost in these trees. So we don't want to impact their roosting locations.
Okay. So very similar to Highway 100 or Veterans Parkway, where we had the line snake, we have northern long-eared bats in this particular area.
Correct.
So we're always trying to make sure we protect that environment.
Exactly.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Right, well, our last update is from James, still from HDR. James, we've talked to you before about this awesome project. Haven't been here updating our viewers for a while. Can you give our viewers a quick update on what's the overall status of the 26th and Southeastern Reconstruction project?
We are just finishing up our plans for this, and we've met with all of the landowners that are immediately adjacent to the project, and boy, we're right on track with essentially the same overall plan we've been with for the last number of years. So
Excellent.
Exciting to see this thing about a year from now actually be bid by contractors.
Wonderful. So this time in 2018, and how many years construction do we think we're going to get it done in a year or not?
Likely not. We've vetted this with contractors and our own analysis, and we think it's going to be through most of the 2019 and 2020 construction seasons.
Okay. Very good. And talk to us again about the construction phasing. I know when we talked during the preliminary stages, we were going to try to keep 26th Street open to traffic. Are we still going to be able to keep that promise?
Yes, we are going to keep one lane of 26th Street traffic open in each direction throughout the construction.
Okay.
Southeastern Avenue will be closed for part of the time north of 26th Street and then south of 26th Street as well. But 26th Street itself will remain open to traffic throughout the construction.
So when Southeastern is closed, will they be closed different years?
Yes, the south side of 26th Street, the Southeastern Avenue will be closed during 2019, and then Southeastern Avenue north of 26th Street will be closed in 2020.
Remind our viewers again, how many feet are we raising that intersection of 26th and Southeastern?
Boy, the intersection will be raised by about 25 feet roughly, and from those train signals that you see behind us, the road will be about, the bottom of the road will be at the top of those train signals over there, so pretty significant.
So we talked a little bit to Chad about the Rotary Park being open during construction. Have our viewers, explain to our viewers how we're going to keep that bike path traffic open.
Well, this section of bike trail is one of the highest volume ones in the whole city, so we really want to make sure that that's open. Right now we're planning on putting a big concrete box culvert underneath the existing and new bridges so that people can travel underneath the existing bridge and the proposed new bridge without any fear of getting hit by anything.
So that's pretty creative for us.
It is, yes it is.
Oh, very good. So is there anything you'd like to, I guess, refresh our viewers on the project? Any type, we've had numerous public meetings. Do we have a project website for them to keep up on the project?
Yes, the project website is still available, 26thstreetcorridorstudy.com, and the renderings and animations that we did in those are still very applicable, and we've been using those throughout the whole design process. So if anyone has any questions or wants to review what's being proposed, those are really effective at showing visually what's going to be happening here.
Excellent. And I believe we have made minor modifications to the wall a little bit to enhance some of that visual.
Yes, we've adjusted some of the aesthetics on the walls to make them look very nice.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your update. And viewers, please go to our website at siouxfalls.org, and there is a link to the 26th Street Corridor Project website to keep up to date on our project. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks, Shannon. Did you know that Sioux Falls was recently named a bronze bicycling community? Let's listen to Sam Trebilcock as he explains all about it.
Okay. Well, we recently have been awarded from the League of American Bicyclists through the Bicycle Community Program a bronze level award. And I think it is really important for the community to be recognized to show that we are making strides for bicycle improvements, whether or not it be facilities or safety or anything else that has to do with bicycling, really is shown by a national organization that it's something that we're making improvements in. It also shows that it's a benchmark for us to be able to see that where we can make improvements to become either a silver, gold level community, and where can we make improvements based upon that national organization's review. Well, I think the things that impressed the committee really just is all the work done by all the different organizations. So I think they do talk to some of the bicycling organizations and citizens, and to find out how they feel the community's making improvements, and I think that's something that they notice. They also make notice of all the facility improvements that we're making in the community, the addition of the bicycle lanes, the sharrows, the routes, the improvements to the bicycle trail system. They make very high note, I think, of our bicycle trail system. And then also just the other things that we're doing with events in the community and other things that we're working on in terms of bicycle safety initiatives. I mentioned that we're making strides with bicycle safety, but I think that they certainly want to see additional outreach for bicycle safety initiatives. And that's something we've noted in our bicycle committee that's really important for us to be working on. Also, I think they do want to see additional improvements to our facilities, our on-street facilities. We're making strides in those areas where before we didn't have much of anything. Now we are starting to see facility improvements. Now we just have to, I think, up our game in that area too. And then just overall, how can we improve our Complete Streets review process? How can we improve some of our bicycle laws in the community? Those are all things that they're looking at. Right now, at siouxfalls.org/planning, you can go there, and under transportation planning and bicycle planning, you can go into those areas and you can see everything that we're doing, especially with our bicycle plan. I think that's kind of our roadmap for where we want to go and how we want to make improvements and how we want to make to the next level, that silver level. And I think that's really important. And if there's questions, you certainly can email me and go from there.
Coming up after the break, Katie Wick is going to talk to us about some healthy eating during the holidays.
The Midco Aquatic Center is hiring part-time lifeguard positions, work while going to school, flexible schedules, and bonus opportunities available. No certification needed to apply. Find out more information at midcoaquaticcenter.org/employment.
All around town, from stores to playgrounds, babies are on the move. And there are diseases that are on the move too. And some of these spread easily. To best protect him from 14 serious diseases by the time he turns 2 years old, vaccinate him according to the recommended schedule, so he can go on about his business and you can have peace of mind. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor or go to cdc.gov/vaccines.
Welcome back, everybody. If you're like me, you eat way too much during the holiday season. Here's Katie Wick as she explains what we should do and not do to eat healthy.
The holiday season is soon approaching, and along with that comes spending time with family and friends and, of course, delicious food. Sometimes that delicious food can cause a little extra weight gain. So we're here today with registered dietitian Melissa Vondrak from Falls Community Health and SDSU to talk about some healthy eating habits, some substitutes that we can do, and how to avoid that extra weight gain.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here. So give us some of the tips. How do you suggest we start with looking at avoiding some of that extra weight gain around the holidays when there's so much food, extra sweet treats, those kind of things?
Right. So first of all, I would recommend, be realistic. The holidays are not really a time for weight loss. Instead, focus on maintaining your weight and avoiding consuming those extra calories.
So you said to be realistic during the holiday season. We all want to have those treats and those kind of things. What are other things that we can do to help maintain that weight?
So first of all, don't skip meals is kind of the important thing. A lot of times we think that if we skip eating breakfast or lunch to save up room for the evening, if we're going to a party or something, we think that'll save us calories. However, oftentimes that causes us to be tempted to eat more and consume more of the fats and the sweets and the things that can really pile on the calories without us really knowing about it. So something I would recommend is eating a light snack before going to a party, whether it's a small salad or some carrot sticks with hummus or a piece of fruit, just something to kind of help curb your appetite. And so then one of the other things is treating those sweets and those treats as just that, as a treat. So realize that these foods are special, you don't get to consume them very often, and so try to choose the ones that you don't get to eat very often. Just because there's a whole array of every type of cookie imaginable, that doesn't mean that you have to eat them all. Just choose, maybe 2 or 3 that you would like to have that you don't get to have very often, and try to eat just like a small amount of it.
So pick your favorites in a very small amount.
Correct.
For the sweet treats.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, there's plenty of those this time of year.
Yes.
So when dishing up your dinner table plate, can you talk to us about what are some tips and tricks that you can do so that you don't overeat when you're sitting down to a full meal?
Right. So one thing is following the My Plate guidelines. Try to have half of your plate fruits and vegetables. Choose a lean protein, a grain, and drink plenty of water with your meals too. And another thing, try to use a smaller plate if you are able to.
Okay.
That can really help navigate some of that.
So portion sizes are extremely important at this time of year.
Important.
We can have all kinds of different foods in front of us again, and sometimes a buffet line. So give us some ideas about that.
Right, so when you're navigating the buffet line, it can be tempting to just kind of want to grab everything in sight. Again, try to choose the foods that are the most meaningful to you, that you don't get to enjoy as often. And also when you're dishing up the foods, pay attention to the serving sizes. So one general rule of thumb that you can use is you can actually kind of use your hand as a tool to help you choose the correct portion sizes. So keep in mind, generally, a closed fist is about 1 cup. If you have the palm of your hand is generally about 3 ounces, so for servings of meat and things like that. And then your thumb is about 2 tablespoons. So if you can kind of try to limit things like gravies or the fats like butter and things like that, that can kind of help keep those portion sizes in check.
Great advice. So talk about substitutes a little bit like you were. So what can we substitute? What should we have more of and less of?
Right.
Mashed potatoes as opposed to other vegetables.
Right. Correct. So over here I have some different examples of things that you kind of want to limit. One of the things is we often don't think about is beverages and how those can kind of really sneak on those calories. You're just sipping it and talking to friends and family. You're not really paying attention to how much you're actually consuming. So things like pop and juice, we kind of want to try to limit, because those can add the sugar and the calories that can really add on that weight gain. Other things like the butter, again, keeping in check how much we're having. Try to limit it to that 2 tablespoons, or less, if we can do that. Instead, we can have some of these other foods so try to drink more water with your meals, trying to take some sips in between your bites, maybe setting down your fork after each bite. Really focus on the people that you're with in conversations, and try to make less of the focus on food and more on the reason for the season and why you're celebrating and why you're there. Some other substitutions when you're cooking, for example, with sweet potatoes, you can use Greek yogurt instead of sour cream or butter. It can be a good substitute as well, just to make it a little bit healthier and cut back on some of the fat and add some more protein as well, which will help keep you full longer. Trying to cook with healthy fats such as olive oil or canola oil. However, it is still a fat, so keep in mind, still limit the amount of fat that's being used, as it is still higher in calories per gram. Try to drink, the water, the low-fat skim milk, if you can do that. Try to make dishes that incorporate a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. Those are high in fiber and water that are going to help provide you with important vitamins and nutrients that you need, but also contains fiber and water that helps fill you up.
I think you made a really important point about the focus of the holidays and spending time with friends and family, and that being the important thing.
Exactly.
And the food is a little bit of a bonus, but we do have to keep it in balance. So we appreciate your time today, Melissa, and thank you. If you would like more information on healthy holiday eating tips, please go to livewellsiouxfalls.org.
Thanks, Katie, for those healthy eating tips for the holiday season. I couldn't let you go, though, without some holiday safety tips. Here's Fire Rescue for some more information.
Hi, I'm Division Chief Steve Fessler with Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. And today I'm speaking with Tyler Churchma, one of our fire inspectors. And with the winter season upon us and the holidays coming, I'd like to talk a little bit about some fire safety that we should all be thinking about at this time of year. And we'll start off with the obvious one, Tyler, Christmas trees. What should we be thinking about and aware of with the different types of Christmas trees?
Yeah, if you choose to go with a real tree, just make sure it's always watered. It is a huge fire load if you don't water it and it dries out. When you're putting Christmas lights on the tree, just make sure you're checking the cords, make sure there's no frays, cuts in them. If there is, just replace them. And at night, make sure you unplug the tree before you go to bed.
All right, and talking about Christmas trees, we talked about a real Christmas tree, keeping it watered and so it doesn't dry out. I know a lot of people like to look at the artificial tree. With that, looking at more of a flame-resistant type setup, what are we talking about there?
Yeah, it's a great alternative to the real tree. You don't have to worry about the fire hazard, obviously. It's fire-resistant. A lot of them come with the pre-lit lights on them already. You don't have to worry about watering it, keeping it, hydrated or whatever. So that's a great alternative.
You still got to check the lights, make sure that all the cords are good. Everything else that you think about, you need to keep track of.
Yep.
Some of the other things that we're dealing with at this time of year is as it's colder, the houses are colder, we've got older homes, and people just start using space heaters.
Yes.
What's some of the stuff we should be looking at or thinking about with space heaters?
Okay, if you're using a space heater like this one here, just make sure when you do have it plugged in, it's at least 3 feet away from any combustible materials. Make sure you're plugging it directly into the outlet, not using an extension cord with that. And just like with the Christmas tree at night before you go to bed, if you could unplug it or have it on a timer to go off, that'd be great.
Okay, and you said it. Extension cords.
Extension cords, yes.
What should we be looking for with extension cords?
With extension cords, make sure you're using it as rated if it's indoor, outdoor, and make sure it's a heavy enough extension cord. There is some cheaper version extension cords out there that can't take much of a load. And just, again, check the cord, make sure there is no frays on it, any cuts, any damage to it, and if there is, just replace them right away.
Okay, good. And I know one of the things that we tend to battle against are candles.
Yes.
People leaving candles unattended and something happening with them.
Yep.
What's some good train of thought with candles?
Yeah, everybody likes to use candles for the holidays for decorations. If you do tend to burn them, make sure there's not children around. They're on a steady flat surface, at least a foot or two away from any combustible materials. And a great alternative nowadays is the LED flameless candles like this one here. Great alternative. Don't have to worry about making sure they're off or anything like that.
One of the things that starts to tend to be talked about more at this time of year is carbon monoxide. Explain a little bit more to us about CO detectors.
All right. Yeah, everybody's turning their furnaces on now, and if you haven't got them checked, get them checked out. What carbon monoxide is, it's any fuel burning appliance doesn't have a clean burn to it will kick off some carbon monoxide. So we recommend in City of Sioux Falls, or anywhere I guess, to have a carbon monoxide detector in your home. And if you do have one installed, make sure it's close to your bedroom. The reason for that is when you're awake, carbon monoxide will actually make you sick, but when you're sleeping, it'll actually put you into a deeper sleep. So if you do have carbon monoxide, we want to make sure you can hear that alarm going off. We recommend one at least by your bedroom, and then have one on each level of your home.
Okay. And another thing we love to reiterate out there is smoke alarms. Making sure that you're changing your batteries, checking them out, make sure that they're within the 10-year.
Yep.
With the smoke alarms, anything else there?
Yeah, I mean, just something to remember when you are actually checking your smoke alarm monthly, like you should be. When you hit that button, you're actually testing the battery and the audio in it, the sound. You're not actually testing the sensor, so that's why we recommend changing them out every 10 years, because what happens, you get dirt and debris on that sensor and they're not as sensitive then. So just make sure you're checking them replacing them every 10 years.
All right. Thank you, Tyler, for that important information at this time of year with the holidays coming up. And if you'd like to learn more about any of these things we discussed today, go to www.siouxfalls.org/fire. Thank you.
Well, that's it for December, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a healthy, happy, wonderful holiday season. If you're looking for more information on the topics we discussed, log on to siouxfalls.org and check out our YouTube channel. So once again, happy holidays, and I'll see you next year.